Welcome to the Producers Hangout.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Flux of fluxwithit.com, and this is the Producers Hangout, episode 29. We're almost out of our younger years and going towards 30. I am Flux, producer, sound designer, and I have my co-hosts with me today. We've got Mike of padbangers.com. So, say what's up, Mike.
What's up, Mike?
There it is. Yeah, so Mike's got some cool new stuff to talk about. We'll get into that in just a little bit. And we've also got the amazing Knox Squared of Knox House and the machinewarehouse.com and machine tutorials. And what else do you do? You have a cooking show yet?
Beat tags and what you say? That what?
Cooking show yet?
Not yet. It's coming up.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, man.
Producers cooking.
That's right. Right. So, so we'll jump right into some topics for this show. First topic of discussion would definitely be the new PreSonus Studio One version 3 is finally out. It's been much anticipated. Everybody's been waiting for it, and looks really nice. I myself have not upgraded just yet because I'm in the middle of a project and I get very scared. Even though it does install separately from version 2, I just get very anxious about switching or adding major new products to my system when I'm in the middle of a project. So when I'm finished up, then I'll go ahead and I'll move into that. But so I'm going to pass off to Mike first because I know that Mike's been using it and get some thoughts from him. Mike, what's your initial reaction to it?
I got it for 2 days now, and I had about like 2 hours of time to check out the new stuff, and I'm really impressed. It's way more new features than I was expecting. And I'm super happy with the update. Very cool and useful new features. Still, it looks a little more lightweight to me, a little bit faster. And what I really liked is when I installed it, it grabbed all my previous settings and took it over to the new installation. So I didn't have spent much time on setting it up from the beginning. It was actually just the way I left version 2, and so yeah, that's really nice. I like the dark color scheme. I also really like that you can change the color. Right. So it's not like you have to deal with it now that it's a dark color. You can switch it to any color you want. That's really cool. I like it way better than version 2. Also, the new features like the quarter, the arpeggiators, the multi-instruments, the sketchpad, really great additions to the for the workflow and for the sound. So I'm really impressed.
Yeah, I will say that from everything that I've seen, the things that really kind of grab my attention on here have been the effects chains and the way that you can now stack your instruments. It looks like it kind of, I mean, I don't know how the browsing has changed. But the fact that you can stack instruments almost like how Core could stack instruments in a way. But the easy way of setting key splits and just being able to set up like massive chains of instruments all together, that's kind of what has me most interested. That and the scratch pad. I love the idea that you can go in and kind of tweak things around and not worry about screwing up your entire project. So that's something that I'll be able to use personally for most of my work. Has there been any major workflow changes that you found that kind of immediately jumped out to you that you enjoyed, or?
No, the workflow is basically the same. It just has more additions to it. For example, the multi-instruments, it's still as it was. You have a lot of drag and drop features. So if you want to create a multi-instrument, you just drag another instrument on top of your existing channel, and it asks you if you want to replace it or if you want to create a multi-instrument. So it's really super intuitive and super fast.
Yeah, that quarter is what got me. I just as soon as I started messing with it, I was like, oh, this is crazy, you know. And like you said, the scratch pad, and I only had like maybe an hour to mess with it, but I came up with a track that I really liked just in that time. And I was kind of, because I just still didn't know how to work. Like, I was dragging instruments on top of each other. It was like layered, like I said, layered itself. I was like, oh, this is crazy. So it's just, when I get more time with it, I'm going to be able to, really dig into it. I'm trying to do that this weekend. This is a long weekend, but I mean, I love the update. I think, like you said, it's faster. That's what I was trying to describe. I was like, it's smooth. What you said is faster. It seems just like that. It's like I get around quicker in it and everything. So I mean, I really love it so far.
Yes.
So I'll show a quick clip of what we're looking at. So what we're talking about again is Studio One version 3, and let's take a quick look. I'll just kind of skip through.
Scratch pad.
Yeah, these new instrument engines look really cool too, like the multi-sampling, and you can load contact libraries right into it.
The Mai Tai sounds good.
Yeah,
I forgot to mention that. It sounds really good.
We'll jump in a little bit. Okay, so and that's another thing is that it has a new iPad app for controlling things.
Right.
That looks really nice too. Which it seems like everybody's kind of doing that now. But Studio One has worked for a while using iPad stuff, but it seems like they really kind of have things down. Also, the touchscreen stuff that they're doing now with like touchscreen monitors, so it works a lot like something like a Slate Raven, and you can resize your faders, get it all to the size that you want. That looks really useful.
Well, actually, I couldn't figure out how this is working. How I resize my faders. The interface looks better scalable than before, but I couldn't only adjust the faders in height, not in width. So for touching, I don't know if it's possible. I just couldn't figure it out yet. But if it's not possible, then I think it's a little hard for touch displays. And I wish they would do it all the vectorial way like Fruity Loops does it now.
Yeah, well, I will say in the videos that I saw, it didn't like I saw them resizing, but I never once saw them going fatter. So maybe that's not something that they're doing just yet. Maybe that's an issue there.
Maybe it will probably be a little bit harder for smaller touch devices, like if you're using a Microsoft Surface or something like that. So.
Yeah, I think.
I apologize. My son came in here. It's the house.
That's okay.
I'm trying to get my wife the cake. He's got Legos and everything. Right? Sorry about that.
It's the weekend, man. Yeah, and I'll say some of the other things on there that looked interesting is that because now you have this multi-sample instrument in there and you can load your contact libraries in there, your EXS libraries. I think that kind of opens the door for a lot of people that maybe didn't have access to Contact before. I don't. You're still not going to be able to necessarily get some of the bigger name libraries that need a full Contact license on. But you'll at least be able to load in a lot of those sounds, so that should be cool. The look of it looks a lot easier on the eyes for a long term, but I've seen a lot of people that are using it are still kind of brightening it up just a little bit.
You mean after they get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did too, actually, because the first thing I heard was people saying is they go in the Logic route or whatever, because but I light mine up just a little bit, but it's still darker than I have for Studio One too. So I like right in between there.
I like the fact that the transport is still on the bottom. I hate the transport on the top of Logic. I hate that.
What I also really like is you can now set up macro controls for a lot of instruments, also for the multi-instruments. You can set up, I think, up to 8 knobs or even more. I couldn't figure out how to do it, but maybe it's even more. But you can set your favorite functions on a separate interface and then map it out to your MIDI controller, and that's super useful.
Yeah, I've heard like mixed reviews about how the macro controls are working. I've heard some people saying that they're having issues with like remembering macro controls or possibly setting multiple macros to one thing and then just how it's interacting. But I don't know if that's, again, it's just now out, so it could be a situation where people need to just learn it deeper. That's another thing that I always take first impression things kind of with a grain of salt, because it's like a lot of the times, a month or so in, it's like people have realized that, oh, well, I didn't realize this could do that, or vice versa. So, with something as large as a DAW, it's, I mean, you're not going to figure out everything right away. It's going to be something that you're going to take time, even if it's an update and you're previously familiar with it. Now, I will say that I switched to Studio One 2 from Logic 9, and which honestly I didn't even want to get Logic 9. It was one of those things where I had to get Logic 9 in order for certain projects to work, and that was actually one of the reasons why I left Logic, is because I got really sick of that kind of attitude. So I left, and then when I went to Studio One, I found that it's super intuitive, and just like the key commands that you would want just kind of tend to work, and it's just, you don't really need a lot of menu diving. You don't need a lot of these convoluted workflows, and it seems like everything that I've been seeing from the update, it's kind of continuing down that path, making things as light as possible, as easy as possible, super fast workflow.
Yeah, what was still my favorite feature and what makes it, in my opinion, better than any other DAW is how it handles MIDI mappings. So I have one controller, for example, here my launch control, and I don't have to care about what to set up. It's just the plugin that in Focus can be controlled with the interface. So I set up one time how many knobs I have on this device, and then every time I pull up a new instrument, I can map it with the same knobs without overriding anything else, and that's really a great feature.
Now, Knock, you've been using just the demo for a little bit, just to kind of check it out. Have you done anything at all with any MIDI mapping on it?
Not yet. I think I got into that quarter thing and just was going around messing with that a lot, and the scratch pad. I put Machine in, but Studio One's always worked great. To me, it's like the best DAW to use with Machine.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Like I'll just program everything on the one track and just explode the tracks and instantly they all bounce the audio. It's just like, it's crazy how fast it goes. So I want to do more stuff with Machine. I want to get more time this weekend to really.
Now, are you still using Bitwig at all?
A little bit. It just it's what's happened is I've been getting messing with so many DAWs that I just kind of started losing focus, and I went back. My main ones I like to use are FL Studio and Studio One, and I guess because of Machine tutorials, I learned I need to put Machine with other DAWs for people that want to see the videos or whatever. But I try to learn those, but I started getting out of focus, man, and it's just like. Bitwig is real nice, but I think I always will go back to Studio One and FL Studio, and I don't know. I'm just losing. I got so many DAWs. I'm just like, it's becoming like I'm not being creative anymore. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I kind of set Bitwig to the side a little bit, and I still like it, but I just.
I've been using Bitwig here and there, like bits and bits, and I've been watching it kind of expand. Like they're still pretty quick with the updates. Like they've been doing a lot as far as a lot of the missing features that people were kind of surprised weren't there, and things are starting to kind of come together a little bit for it. But it does still feel like it's lacking a bit underneath.
Yeah.
So I still for some really strange reason, like I have the latest Ableton, I've got the latest Bitwig, I've got the Studio One and everything, and even though Bitwig is like it lacks a lot for me, I still tend to like it more than I like Ableton. Like something about its workflow, I just kind of like, and the way that it looks too, like the way it's laid out, but Studio One is like my primary. Like when I need to get something done, I go to Studio One. You know what I mean? Like when I want to mess around, I use these other things. But when I want to get something done, I'm using Studio One.
Yep.
And this latest update, it doesn't scare me in any way. Like it doesn't make me look at it like, oh, things are going to be problematic or breaking on me. But it just looks enticing, and that's kind of what I want to see out of a DAW update. Like I don't want to see like for instance, when you went from like Logic 9 to 10, like there was a lot about it that just made me want to like, pull my hair out. But when I see this, I'm like, well, this is just like a smart progression,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I found one downside in the update for the Studio One. They now added thumbnails in the browser, but they only added it for their own effects, and I didn't find a way how I can add my own thumbnails for all my other plugins because I like the visual way of browsing. And
so you're saying like little icons for each instrument?
It's actually like a screenshot of the actual interface in the browser. And you can super fast scroll through and you see, here's my compressor. It's easier than just a list of text.
Sure.
But I want thumbnails for all my plugins, not only for the Presonus stuff.
Now, is this something that you think you can edit? Like on Machine, it's the same way. It's like they have their own thing, isn't it? But
I have to browse through the file system and see if there's just an XML file pointing to a folder where these files are saved, and maybe you can add your own. I have to figure it out, but there's at least in the browser, it's not like clicking a little plus icon and say add your own picture or something like that. That's not possible.
So yeah, overall, it definitely looks enticing. I'm definitely going to be grabbing it once I'm finished my the project I'm working on. Speaking of projects that we're working on, I'm going to segue into two different topics. One of which Mike is aware of. So I'll bring his up first, and let me do a quick screen share, and I just want to show this. So Mike actually just released his first sound pack of padbangers.com and the machinewarehouse.com, and this is Out of Orbit. Why don't you tell us just a little bit about what this sound pack is? Because I literally just before the show loaded it up and started playing with it, and
actually
some sounds.
Actually, it was released just 5 minutes before the show, so.
There we go. So we're on the cutting edge, breaking news.
That's right.
Yes. So Out of Orbit is a project, or my first attempt to start with sound design, and I want to do something that it's not very, or it's not already done 1,000 times before. So I thought some really cool sci-fi sounds could be interesting. Actually, the idea for it came from when I was watching Interstellar, and I loved the soundtrack of Interstellar and how the images with the minimalistic soundtrack work together. And I thought, like, I want to do sounds like that. And then I was talking to William from the Machine Warehouse about what format he would recommend, and he was like, it's all about machine and massive, so that's a good combination because everybody that has machine has massive too.
Right.
So I started with creating patches in massive, and it was really a nice way of learning massive better, or synthesis in general, because normally when I start creating sounds with the synths, I have no direction. I just start tweaking knobs until a cool sound comes out. But this time it's just the other way around. I thought I want to have this and this sound, and I tried to sculpt it from an initialized patch, and that was really what made me learn synthesis way better. I would say in the last 4 weeks I learned more about synthesis and how sounds are created than in the last 5 years when I was using synthesizers. So that was.
You like it better doing it the new way, or do you like it better when you fiddled and came up with a sound?
It depends. When I want to be creative and I have no direction and I just want to explore something new, then just tweaking knobs is still a good way.
Okay.
But I'm also happy to, when I hear a sound, I can now better analyze it.
Right.
For example, there's a patch that sounds like a alarm, like a red alert, and I listened to YouTube samples and stuff like that for hours until I realized how the sound builds up and what's going on with the sound itself, and that was really a nice experience.
That's cool. That's cool.
So I'm going to just kind of showcase just what it sounds like a bit. And so I have machine loaded up here. You'll notice that up at the top I have, I'm in the massive bank, and then there is a bank specifically for out of orbit. And then you can scroll through and look at the different sounds. And I'll let me send some audio into the chat here, and we'll check it out. I'm just going to strike just a middle C. And this is just one note here of massive. Okay, and all the sounds have a kind of like you know, spacey, just like out there sound to them. So very, very cool.
I love that one.
And then of course I have over here, I have a drum kit loaded from the pack, and I'll go into the browser here. You can see I'm on out of orbit, and then we've got the machine kits here. So very
Yes, and the machine kits are all built from drum sims. That was why, because I always like when I get a sound pack, I love when I easily can tweak the sounds even further, and that's why I chose the drum sims, and only used internal machine effects to get the spacey sound of it, because I love the drum sims, but I think they're very limited in sound. But if you combine them with the right effects like a grain delay or a really large reverb, you really can get huge sounds out of it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Like on a lot of my expansion packs that I had released, I dive really deep into the machine effects because you can do a lot of fun things with them, especially now that the effects are getting better and better.
Yeah.
So it also looks like you color mapped a lot of the sounds on here too for the kits. Like kicks are in red. Like
Yes, everything that's similar in sound has the same color. Like toms has the same color, or special effects, kicks.
It sounds great, man.
Thanks. Yeah, very nice sounds, man. I'm definitely digging on it. So that's definitely something cool to check out, and it's nice to see that you're doing that. Priced at sale price intro $19.99 US dollars.
Nice.
So, yeah, that's definitely cool. So it's 161 shots samples, 5 Ableton Live racks, you got 20 massive patches, 5 machine drum synth kits. Yeah, very cool, very cool. So tying in with that, while we're doing that stuff, as I said, I'm in the middle of a project, and I've been doing my thing. So I'm kind of, I don't necessarily have full ability to show everything, but this is what we have coming soon. This is what I've been working on for many months now, which is the concrete drum machine. And basically this is for those that are not using machine or want access to amazing sound libraries in a very light VST. This is what myself and William McKnight of Machine Warehouse has been working on. Basically, it's a drum machine with you have 12 pads on it, so a full octave, and then each sample, like each drum, has 2 layers to it, so you can mix between them or mix them together. They're phase matched, and then there's also 24 dirt layers that you can mix in there. So if you take a say like a clean drum sound and you want to have it sound a lot more dirty, you can mix in these gritty, like we've got 2 different types of actual vinyl crackle in there. We've got hiss from different amps, tube amps. We've got tape hiss. We've got grit and grime coming out of the modular, and you can set it before and after your samples. So we've done a lot of work into basically getting this thing right where, it's not just something that kind of showcases our sound, but it's something that we would actually use and sounds really, really good. So we'll have a lot more news on that really soon, but it's been a lot of work. We're talking, there's over 5,000 sounds, I think, in it, and it's huge. We've been working on it for a long time. I'll actually show a quick picture of what it actually looks like loaded up so that you can see it. If this thing will actually show. Here we go. So if I go here, yeah, so you can see it right here. And yeah. So right now I have it loaded inside a machine, which works as well. And if you go into pad mode, it's all already mapped too. So it's mapped to your 16-pad controller so that you can instantly start finger drumming on it. And you can see, like, when I start adding in, so the second layer of the samples are all along this top here. So if this is the kick, I can bring it in. All right, and then snare. And then if I want to add, like, grit and grime to them, I can bring these in. Actually, and that's the other half of it that I kind of forgot about. There's also so along with like boom bap and hard hitting sounds, we also did trap sounds, and the trap kits have 808 sub layers down low. I don't know if this is going to be too low for the Google to really catch, but so we sampled actual 808s and analog kick drums and turned them into full-on like sub kicks. And I can kind of. So you can go right through like that, and then I'll give you a view of all these kits that we have in here. So just very fast. And we used over like $40,000 worth of just sound sources alone. That's not even the processing equipment. Just sound sources alone. And then if I bring in the dirt layers, you'll see. Say I want some vinyl on the back end. So you can get just a ton of different sounds out of it. Very, very fun and fast to just dive in. And like I said, everything's already mapped out for you. So that's what I've been working on.
Yeah, and it sounds great. From using the beta, I can say it sounds really dope.
Yeah, so other than that, the other thing that I would bring up is I just wanted to touch base real quick on the fact that the System 1M is actually finally available. You can get it in your hands. And so I have one. Let me actually unhook it so that you can see what it looks like up close. If I can get it out of my modular for a second here. Yeah, so if I don't pull anything out. But System 1M is here. I've been using it for almost a week now. Or maybe like, I don't know, some amount of time. Yeah, a little less than a week. I'm I'm really, really enjoying it. They just now, as of yesterday, released the drivers so that you can update it. And so I have it up on 1.2 right now, which adds more waveforms and stuff to it. The modular aspect of it seems to work really well. The oscillator outputs, you can send envelopes into your filters and everything and really use it as a modular, which is great. There's very little on here. I mean, given the size and layout, there's very little that I would have changed. You know, there's certain things that would be nice to have, but you have to look at what available space they had to work with, and would you sacrifice the other things that are there for those things? And in that case, I'd say probably not. The downside that I'm finding out is the registration for the plug outs and stuff isn't working yet. Their website stuff isn't, like, apparently they released it a little bit early or something. So William from the Machine Warehouse, he got one as well, and when he tried the plug outs on it, none of the CV or audio worked except for the main outs. So I'm hoping that there's an update and then all the CV and stuff works for like the SH101 Pro Mars and all that stuff. So that's yet to be seen. But again, he was using the plug outs from, he has this System 1 keyboard also, and he was using the plug outs from that in here. So maybe they just need to be updated or something. But like audio rate modulation on here sounds awesome. It actually, I'm very happy with it. It's very cool. So I thought
now from the stripped down interface, does it still have the same functions like the keyboard version, or
missing a couple of things? So on the keyboard version, down along the bottom here, you have your patch buttons, and I believe you have, like, is there a sequencer in the keyboard version, like a rudimentary keyboard or some sort of sequencer I thought was in it, or like an arpeggiator or something. That's not in this at all, but the presets are now handled with this. There's like a twisting knob. I don't know how close I can get without messing anything up. But if you look, there's a knob here, and you can turn it and then push it in to select your presets. When you go into poly mode, all these die. So in poly mode, it does not send CV or individual oscillators. I hope that they change the ins and outs. Aside from pitch, obviously isn't going to really work in poly mode, but hopefully they change that. The other thing that's not here is scatter. So on the keyboard version down here, you had a mod wheel that was your scatter wheel. They took out scatter, which is fine by me. I have modules that do that stuff.
One more question from a guy that is not using this for modular synth. Would this work as a USB controller, MIDI controller?
Well, I'm gonna say I'll say it's supposed to. From everything I understand, it is supposed to be able to send MIDI, but I have to say that I don't know for sure because the drivers just got released, but all the software isn't there yet.
Okay.
I guess it's not. It's supposed to be released in June, so I'm hoping like first week of June. So the controller editor and stuff I don't have access to just yet. But I'm really hoping, because one of the unique things about the System 1 is that all the knobs are like really high resolution. They're all, I want to say, like 14-bit encoders. So there's like no stepping at all in this thing. When you're tweaking it and playing with it, like, you know, most digital synths, you'll get at least a little bit of stepping that you'll hear. You don't hear anything at all. Like, and I'm really anal about that. Like, I spent 6 hours the first night I got it with just this and a Synthrotech Sequence 8 modular sequencer that I have powered from a 9-volt, sitting at my dining room table, headphones on, just diving into it, like inner patching it. And they give you, where are they at? I've got some around here. Yank these out. So they give you 3 of these patch cables, which are actually nice. They're like a threaded, they're like braided, and they actually feel really nice. So I just sat there inner patching it and listening to it. It sounds really good. I do believe that it should send MIDI, so I really hope so, because that would be a really powerful MIDI controller. I have seen video of people using CV going into it and having that CV control the software editor. So that's really cool. If I can use this to translate the MIDI of my LFOs and stuff going into my software, I mean that'd be insane. Like I'll be really excited about that.
I'm really interested in it because I was already interested in the keyboard version, but I didn't like the keys. So I would love to use this as a synthesizer, and what I also would love to do is put it on top of the Sub 37 and make it like a huge MIDI controller.
Yeah.
So that would be really dope.
I'll say a couple of things that about this that surprised me in a way. The current state of the music industry has been all about half-assing things, and I don't really feel like that about this, because little things that a lot of the other companies would easily half-ass on that they did not half-ass on. Let me show you this. So when you get this out of the box, it comes with rack ears, so you can rack mount this. It fits a 19-inch rack, or if you put it in a Euro rack, which it has the mounting holes for a Euro rack, it'll fit an 84 HP Euro rack, which is like, you know, kind of a standard ubiquitous size for a Euro rack. But so yeah, 19-inch rack, 84 HP. You can do it like that, or you can leave it on your desktop flat. In which case it has like a really gradual lean to it. Or if you back it up to something, it has an angle at the bottom that's more steep. I'm trying to get the camera to pick it up a little bit better, but it has a nice steep angle if you have it like that, so you can have it kind of sitting almost straight up, which is really nice. The other thing is on the back here, this is technically the top of the unit. I've got MIDI in and out DIN plugs, plus 1/4-inch audio in and out, and then of course your power. And then on the very back, you've got MIDI in and out again, DIN plugs here. So depending on it, you know, if you're going to mount it in different ways, you have multiple different ways of putting your MIDI cables in without fighting the thing. And like, it's little things like that that go such a long way. Like to me, like that just says like they actually thought this product out as opposed to, oh well, we're just going to take, you know, the System 1 out of the keyboard, just slap it in here, put some CV on it, and say, hey, here you go. Like it actually seems like it was thought out. The Eurorack power cable that comes with it, it's a barrel adapter, and then it comes out, and then it goes to actual Eurorack adapter. Now, most people are not going to even use that. They're going to use the standalone power supply because it draws 700 mA in your Eurorack, which is a lot for a Eurorack module. I mean, that's half of what something like a Yuzu's can provide. So, you know, I would probably stick to using the standalone power. But yeah, it just in general, it feels really well thought out. I actually did not like it in keyboard mode at all. Like I didn't like the keys. I didn't like how it felt just being in a keyboard mode. But as a Eurorack module, it just makes complete sense. And like the knobs feel good, the faders feel fine. A little bit short throw for the faders, but you know, nothing too annoying. I mean, it's not much shorter of a throw than many Eurorack modules use. So overall, I'm really happy so far. I just want to see the plug outs actually work with the audio and CV outs and ins.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
So yeah, and like I said, like I don't have to waste any Eurorack space. I have it just sitting right up here, and I can just kind of go to town on it. And, you know, I turn my oscilloscope on and start playing with it, and yeah, it's good times.
Yep.
So any news on your front, Knock? Anything that you're working on? You got anything going on in your life?
Well, you know, I went back, went back into radio, so that's why I've been kind of missing online a lot, you know, at the local station here, doing production there. But really, I want to still do I always wanted to do a Knox Square like hip hop album, and I've been trying to really get into that. I want to get that done, you know, sometime this year. Just I don't know, just to do one at least, you know what I mean? And you know, also stuff on the club side, you know, trying to get more into that. I think with the Studio One, I'm going to really try and learn that in and out, because I really feel like that's going to be like my main dog, and just try to, you know, get some projects done in that. So pretty much that's what I'm doing now. Just trying to keep doing, machine and everything.
And can you just quickly tell people where to go to get their beat tags and
beat tags at knoxhouse.com, KNOCKS, like Runs House, knoxhouse.com. Been doing beat tags since 2009. That's when I first opened up the site to do them, and had a lot of customers, man. I had a lot of success with that. We get like new customers every day, so I feel blessed with that. It's just it is. I just feel blessed I'm able to do something I like to do, and work from home also besides working, at the job, and it's just,
sure.
I don't know, that's just a good thing, so.
And thanks a lot again for hooking us up with the dope intro for the show.
Oh, got to do that. Got to do that, man. That's good time.
I'm gonna pass off to Mike, and I'll let Mike say his closing arguments for the day.
Right. Yeah. Out of Orbit is out now over at themachinewarehouse.com. Also on my channel, on the Pat Bangers YouTube channel, I'm doing a little giveaway. I'm giving away 3 copies of it. So make sure you're gonna check out my channel. Also, there's of course the usual stuff going on, new reviews of cool sound packs. Also, there's some more tutorials coming up. Some Studio One tutorials and new feature videos are coming up. Yeah, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. Pass it over to Knock.
Pretty much it, man. Just enjoying the weekend holiday, and we'll do some music and get into some things. Shout out to machinetutorials.com and everybody that's down with that, and just Machine Nation in general. And that's pretty much it. And also, I'll be making a beat with that patch they played in your thing earlier.
Yeah,
that's a patch. That first one he played, I already got a track in my head, so I'll beat Flux to it.
Oh, yeah. That's the Nebula one. Yeah, man. Beautiful.
So
I'm gonna I'll say a couple of things that I'm doing. I have some interesting reviews. I don't know if you can see this too well. The Pi-L squared. This is a MIDI controlled synthesizer I'm doing a review on. This is actually an analog digital hybrid synth. It has analog and digital filters in it, and it's powered by DIN MIDI, which is ridiculous. It's crazy. So it's cool for some like chiptune type sounds, and it's very interesting, and it's only $99 US. So I'm going to be doing a review on that. I've got a review coming up on the Dave Smith Tempest, which should be an interesting review because I have a love-hate relationship with it. So I'm going to be doing a review on that, and then I've been working really hard on getting Concrete Drum Machine out with themachinewarehouse.com. So look forward to seeing that out. Hopefully that'll be out maybe next month.
That'd be good.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Very aggressive price point for everything that's in it. And yeah, so a lot of work, and a lot of awesome sounds in it too. So I'm looking forward to hearing what people come up with using it. So anyway, that'll do it for the Producers Hangout episode 29. Talking about Studio One version 3, System 1, Out of Orbit, Concrete Drum Machine, and all that goodness. So, peace.
Deuces.
Out.